The MG3 is one of the cheapest superminis on the UK market, and it's recently been given a facelift. This means it's got new looks both inside and out, a revised model lineup and more technology. So, is the new model the ultimate underdog, or is it a missed opportunity? The previous MG3 wasn't a bad looking car per se, but its front end looked a little bit awkward and a little bit scrunched up to me, plus I didn't like the alloy wheels. The new car is more pleasing to look at, especially in this laser blue paintwork, which I do really like. The front end is inspired by the ZS design language, so you get a similar grille, which MG calls the Star Rider grille. Okay, whatever floats your boat. You also get these large headlights that wrap around the front end. I do like them, and they remind me of the shape of a wasp's wing. I like that. Not wasps though. One of the biggest downsides about the previous MG3 was its interior, because stepping inside was like stepping inside a time machine, because it felt like you had gone back in time thanks to the dated interior. Thankfully, the new MG3 has had a complete overhaul of the interior, and it's a nicer place to be. Yes, okay, you still get lots of hard, scratchy materials, but it's a cheap car, therefore you can't really moan. And to recycle a metaphor from my previous MG3 review, that would be like going to a greasy spoon cafe and complaining about the standard of food. You get what you pay for, frankly. But the inside is quite a nice place to be. You get this nice silver tartan effect on the dashboard and a bit of faux carbon fibre, which isn't really to my taste, but hey ho, that's personal preference, of course. And the inside, yeah, it is better than before. Now, the model I'm in is the range-topping exclusive model, offering features such as 16-inch alloy wheels, leather steering wheel with a flat bottom. You also get the sport seats, an 8-inch touchscreen with DAB radio, Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay. I'm afraid there's no Android Auto, which is quite annoying because I've got a Galaxy S9. You also get a reversing camera with rear parking sensors, cruise control, air conditioning, and that's about your lot. Oh, you also get front and rear electric windows, and wait for it, you get map pockets in the back of the seats. If you're wondering why I'm making such a big deal about it, it's because their exclusive is the only MG3 to have map pockets in its front seats. Luxury.
The exclusive model starts from £12,795, but if you want to save even more money, there are of course other trim levels available. The base model is called Explore and starts from a price of just £9,495, and as you would expect, it's a bit spartan for features. You get an engine, 5 seats, 4 wheels, and that's about it. No, joking aside, it also gives you daytime running lights, Bluetooth, a standard radio, not DAB, and electric windows. Then you've got the mid-range model, which is called Excite, which starts from a price of £11,395, adding features such as leather steering wheel, body-coloured door handles and rear spoiler, 16-inch alloy wheels, 8-inch touchscreen, DAB radio, Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay.
The looks may be new, but the choices of engine are exactly the same. When I say choices, there's only one. It is a 1.5 litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder petrol, which, if I'm honest, feels like a bit of a relic. Not only does it run on fossil fuels, but it is a fossil. Is this on? Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is this engine feels rather old hat. I'm half tempted to rip it out, take it on to Antiques Roadshow to see what they'll give me for it. As you would expect, it's far from punchy. It offers just 106 horsepower with a measly 137 Newton meters of torque, which is about the same as a food blender. But how does it actually perform? Well, there's only one way to find out. Oh, yeah, bonnet. Silly me. What am I like? There we go. Now we're good to go. In regards to performance, MG states that this engine will hit 62 miles per hour in 10.4 seconds, which, to be truthful, sounds rather optimistic because it seems to take a lifetime to get there. And my word, it's quite noisy as well. Ugh. In regards to top speed, if you've got enough land spare and a bit of a tailwind, you'll eventually hit a top speed of 108 miles per hour. Because this engine is naturally aspirated, the power is at the top end. Therefore, this car needs to be revved out, which wouldn't be so bad if it was an engine you enjoy revving, but I'm afraid it isn't. Because yes, as I said a few moments ago, it is quite noisy. On the plus side, the 5-speed manual gearbox is better than the previous model. The change is nicer, it feels a little bit more robust, which is just as well because you will need to use it very often to keep on top of this car's power, particularly if you want to overtake or go up a hill. Ride comfort isn't fantastic either. The ride is most definitely firm and it's unsettled on pretty much every surface you take it on. MG states that the MG3 has been tuned for UK roads in regards to its suspension setup, but I'm really not too sure which UK roads they used, because on pretty much every road I've driven this car on, it's been fidgety, unsettled and bumpy. So ride comfort could definitely be improved. Oh. Okay, granted, this particular road is far from fantastic. However, I'm feeling every bump and divot and imperfection. Because this is the exclusive model, I've got the sport seats, as MG calls them, which do feel comfortable when you first sit in them, but after a few moments of driving, the seats also feel firm and quite unforgiving. Plus, they also lack support, so would I want to drive this car on a longer journey? No, I really don't think so. On the plus side, it does mean the MG3 offers a good amount of handling and it is a genuinely fun car to drive. So with that in mind, let's go and find a few corners. Unlike other cars in its class, the MG3 has got hydraulic power steering, not electric. This means you get a satisfying weight and some proper feedback. Now, there is a downside. When you're parking or doing low speed maneuvers, the steering can feel a little bit too heavy, but it's not a hardship. And in all honesty, I like it. Because it means when you're going through corners, you get some proper sensation of what the front wheels are doing. There's very little body lean in the corners and it's well controlled. Plus there's a good amount of grip. Mind you, it won't take you too much effort to get some understeer out of it. However, on the whole, this car does handle well. It is genuinely good fun and you can get a sense that the spirit of the old MG is still in here somewhere, trying to break free. MG as a brand may have changed, it may have evolved, but this is proof that the brand still knows how to make a fun handling car. The only negative is the brakes aren't particularly strong. They feel quite spongy when you first press the pedal, and it's not until you depress it a little bit more that you get some kind of confidence that the car is actually slowing down. So I would want better brakes. I have to say, this car, it's a bit frustrating because it is genuinely fun, but the fun is spoiled somewhat by that asthmatic 1.5 engine. This car could really do with a 1 litre turbocharged unit, and then MG would have a half decent car on its hands. It's so noisy. But I have to say, when you're cruising, it does fade away into the background very nicely. Whilst I'm talking about noise, let's touch upon refinement. Refinement is okay, it's not outstanding. There is a fair amount of tyre noise coming in to the cabin from the Goodyear efficient grip tyres that are shod around the 16-inch alloy wheels. Wind noise is okay, although Because the wing mirrors are kind of flat and slab-sided, you do get a bit of wind noise from them because they just catch the wind quite easily.
Time to move things on and talk about safety. The MG3 is of course built to a price, therefore you shouldn't expect too much in the way of safety equipment. As standard, buyers will receive 6 airbags, speed limiter, ABS, ESC, traction control, and that's about it. Annoyingly, there's no option to have autonomous emergency braking, which I'm sure will be a disappointment to a fair few buyers. Because of the so-so safety equipment, the MG3 scored just 3 out of 5 stars from Euro NCAP, which in a class of high-performing rivals is disappointing. Adult occupant safety was scored at a mediocre 69%, whilst child occupancy was scored at a slightly more impressive 71%. So if safety is a big factor for you when you're buying a car, you may want to look elsewhere. But what about practicality? Well, the MG3 isn't loaded with cubby holes, but it should offer just about enough space for your bits and bobs, although the glove box is disappointingly small. There's just one cup holder in the middle, which is a bit grating when you bear in mind the previous model offered 2. The door bins can fit a bottle in them with a bit of space left over, and there's also a small storage area underneath the centre console. Getting a good driving position was fine for me, but some may struggle as the steering wheel only adjusts for rake and not to reach. And it's also worth noting that lower spec models have a driver's seat with less adjustment. This model is 6-way adjustable in case you're wondering. Even when the seat is set to its lowest, I still feel like I'm sat a little bit too high, although it does make getting in and out of the car easier.
Rear space is pretty good as always. The driver's seat has been set for me. I'm 6'2", so I am of course a tall guy, but I've got a good amount of legroom left over, plus a good amount of knee room, and my headroom is pretty respectable as well. So the rear is a spacious place to be, although I don't think you'd want to put 3 adults back here. 2 adults will be fine, of course. The middle seat is set a little higher up, and you've also got a transmission tunnel running down the middle, meaning your middle passenger would have to sit a little bit more awkwardly. So 2 adults, fine. 3 children, again, should be fine, but on the whole, rear space back here is good. The boot offers a decent amount of space because it has a capacity of 285 litres, which is respectable for its class, but not quite as large as the Dacia Sandero. However, if you need more space, you can of course fold down the 60/40 rear seats to give you 1,262 litres. So it is quite a practical boot. However, there is quite a high lip, so getting heavy bags of shopping out is a little bit of a chore. But on the whole, it's pretty decent.
So practicality is pretty decent, but how much will it cost to run?
So then, let's talk about fuel economy. On a combined run, this 1.5 litre engine should give me 48.7 mpg, and in my experience I've been getting around 41, which is okay, but let's be honest, it's nothing to write home about. In regards to CO2, as you would expect, this engine isn't particularly green because it emits 140 grams per kilometre, meaning for the first year of VED you'll be required to pay £205. So if you're looking for a super mini that is green and frugal, you may want to look elsewhere. In regards to insurance, the MG3 has got an insurance group of 7E, which is about on par with its rivals, but it is a little bit higher than the Dacia Sandero. This car shouldn't cost you too much in maintenance. There hasn't been any horror stories in regards to reliability, but just in case you are worried, you do get a 7-year warranty as standard to give you peace of mind. The MG3 has got its good points, but I'm afraid the engine is still a sticking point, leading this car to feel like a bit of a missed opportunity. However, the MG3 offers a good amount of value, it's got a decent amount of space, and I think it looks pretty good as well. It's certainly more interesting than a Dacia Sandero if you ask me. But if you're looking for a more polished super mini, you will want to look elsewhere. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. If so, give it a massive thumbs up. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click that bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. And if you aren't subscribed, guys, what are you waiting for? Be sure to subscribe for more car obsession.